Right. Danny has said something about Josh Windass, and I think it's very important we talk about it. And I did cover it a little bit yesterday, but I want to cover it more in depth. Hello and welcome to the video. If you could like, share and subscribe to the channel, much appreciate it. Liking out the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing lets me know you like the channel, and we keep the channel growing as much as we can. So Josh Windass yesterday scored a cracking goal when he came on to play versus Alfreton Town yesterday, and it was interesting seeing that both that Iorfa and Windass have now signed new deals. Now, the attacking midfielder was linked with so many clubs in the summer, and it was a touch and go. Was he going to stay? Was he going to go elsewhere? And you were thinking, this isn't probably going to help us with everything. But they eventually got things sorted and got everything lined up where both player and club could agree on a deal. Now, he did 45 minutes under his belt as well, which is good. And you want him to hit the ground running. So, what he said about Windass was this. He understands the game. He was important at the end of last season. For him, it's important he has a good preseason and he is strong. We know sometimes he was injured, but he has a good attitude. He really was on fire and he wanted to stay. I'm happy, but we have to build up the squad and continue. And I like that. I like that he understands that Josh was wanting to stay and that he was in a real rich frame of form when he came into the squad back end. And it shows you that there's a player and a manager that just get each other. And I think that's very crucial and important for Josh's development, let alone the team's development. And I think it helps with things like that. He also goes on to talk about Dominic Iorfa, who wasn't in the squad at the weekend because he just come back. He said, we know what his strengths are. He's big speed, and it's important to train at home. He was not part of the game because he started on 30 with a 13 session, and the head coach added, it's important to control the load. I think all players there a reason why we took them and kept them. And Dominic was a strong part of last season's push to stay in the championship. And I think that's the same you have with Beetle. I think Beetle was a case of just coming midweek. He's not up to the scratch yet of where he needs to be, and you just want to get him working on the load as much as humanly possible. The thing is what you notice with Danny, he is very much about getting the players in the right load, getting them the right amount of minutes that they need. And I think that's very important for when you're trying to push a player on a little bit and seeing if he can get further in his development and get him match fit. You don't want to just throw him in for the sake of throwing him in. And I like that about that with Danny. Danny will not throw him in for the sake of it. He'll make sure they're up to speed and ready to where he thinks it's acceptable, not where they think it is. And it'll all be done by data as well. Every little bit of data will be looked at, scrutinized a lot. And I think if you look at it that way, it's fantastic. It works well. And we just got to keep it moving in the same direction we've done this week just gone into next week. Next week, we're at St. George's Park. It sounds like we could have even more players in next week. So keep that notification bell on as well. Strikers would be nice. You never know. We could have Ugbo, Paveda and Bernard signed. How cool would that be if we had those three back as well and then add someone else into the mix? There are a lot of rumours going around that Bernard has signed a deal, but until it's official, I don't want to speculate because we had a little bit of that with Josh. Has he signed? Has he not? And I want to have that not doing in the same kind of way it did with Josh. I like us to just see what happens with it, and hopefully will. But there's a rumour he has signed, and again, I'll say it again to Mike. I apologise. You were right. I got this one terribly wrong. Kind of thing. But we'll see what happens. But thank you for watching. We'll see what happens this week. Are we going to get more players in? It sounds like it. There's a couple of deals ready to go by Danny's tone at the weekend. But we'll see. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.